Okay, so those of you that are probably wondering where the last video ended here, yes, at 13 minutes and 19 seconds, my recording decided it didn't want to work anymore. So, here's part 2 of that first assignment, and if you notice, I've kind of already done it. So, let's jump back a few steps here, and we will go back to this. So, my apologies for my computer problems here. First and foremost, you may notice something. The roller coasters, I was able to go into the file and import, and I went file and put them in. You may notice how if I double click my roller coaster image, it says that it doesn't really know where it is. And you might even notice up in this top right corner, the top left corner, I've got this little color bar testing, okay? That's because my footage, after I made this assignment, I wound up moving my files. So, what will happen if, say, I do wind up having these roller coasters or whatever, or just say any sort of file. If you send me a file, there's a chance that if you don't have those files on the computer, you're just going to get these color bars, this testing pattern. And that's what I see. I wind up seeing a lot of testing patterns over my days as grading. So, if you want to make sure that I don't see the testing pattern, make sure you keep any images you use in your file with the same folder that you have your movie and your AEP file, your After Effects project. So, I'm going to go in here. There's Roller Coaster 1. It's going, what's Roller Coaster 1? I don't know what it is. You know, I'm trying to find it. David Backups. Where's ANI? ANI videos. There we go. So, Roller Coaster 1, boop, open. Now it's additional have been found. So now it's no longer that. So now let's go to Roller Coaster. Oh, Roller Coaster 2 also found itself, huh? Okay, so it found Roller Coaster 1 and Roller Coaster 2 now. So now it's back to this. So let me just delete all of this, delete all this, delete all this, delete all this, even though you've seen I've already finished the project. Matter of fact, let me just delete this and delete this. Or let me just close that out. I'll make slides 1 and slides 2 again. So, I have myself a slide. Let me just go. I got myself a roller coaster. Here's my roller coaster. There it is. And you know what? Let me just scale it out here. Just make it a little bit bigger here. Let me put that top hat right there. There we go. Just kind of getting the same sort of effect I had last time. If I go to right-click this, and I go to Precompose, so right-click the name Precompose, and I can go and name this thing. So leave all attributes in ANI Precomp, or move all attributes into a new precomposition. I'm going to move all my attributes to a new precomposition. So I already have slides 1, so let me just name this slides 3, because, obviously slides 1, slides 2 are right there. And there's, my precomp. Now, if I were to go in here and just say, double-click slides 3 here, you'll notice I have a slides 3 precomp. And I have my precomposition for my entire project. So if I change anything about this, let's say I change the scale on this guy in my precomp. Now I go over to my big file here. You'll see that it's also been changed to match the precomp. So whatever I change in a precomposition, it'll change in the main project. What is the purpose of this? Well, let's say you have a bunch of layers. You got like 100 different layers, so on and so forth. Probably it makes sense just to have one scene, like one camera shot, be its own precomposition. And then, the next shot be its own precomposition. So instead of working with 100 different layers and having to manually change and turn on each and everything we want to do, we just simply have a precomp and have that precomp like, okay, there's how long scene 1 lasts. And now let's move the precomp for scene 2, and scene 2 goes to here, so on and so forth. It's just a concept of keeping things, together and making it more organized for you. So there's slide 1. Let me undo. There we go. Undo that back out to there. And let me do the same thing with slide 2, with with my other roller coaster image. Here's my roller coaster image. Pre-comp that. And, whoops, what did I name that? Undo. Always make sure you know what you're naming things, David. Slides 4. Why not? And there's slides 4. So now when I use slides 4 is that guy. So I got slides 3, slides 4, and I've got my pre-comp right here that has both of them. So, let me go back into Safari here. Let me just make sure that I have pre-comp mask, slide 2, rectangle mask for slide 1, circle mask for slide 2. Both sides, create 2 more solid layers, comp size, add one at red 30%, one blue 30%. Okay, so, here we go. And I also know I have to put a mask on these comps. So here we go. I'm gonna put a rectangular mask on this slide right here. That is, why did you do rectangle? Let me click you. Now you're doing, okay, cool. Now you're doing what I want you to do. Okay, so worst case scenario, if that were to happen, make sure you're actually clicking on the layer before you're doing a shape, because if you're not, you're just going to make a shape. And let me go to subtract. You may be wondering what the invert is. It just inverts the effect. So an add becomes a subtract becomes an add, so on and so forth. So there we go. That's the thing I'm doing on slides 3. And you know what? I want to circle one on slide this. So let's see here. Command. Oh, look at that. I wound up making a mask. There we go. Now with it selected, now it'll make a mask. Ooh. Good enough. Why not? And then let me subtract that as well. So it just cuts out. There we go. It has a hole in it. There we go. So, done that. Now both of those guys, now you see the masks are shining through this. So now I need to go and make sure layer, new, solid. A blue layer, I can have an option to make composition size. There we go. There's my blue solid 2. And that transparency is going to be at 30%. And I'm also going to layer new solid. And I'm going to make myself a red layer this time. Make composition size. And that's also going to be transparency at 30%. So now I've got my guys, I've got all my layers. So slides 3 gets parented to the red one, I believe, and slide 2 gets parented to the blue one. Boom. Now, what was the rest of that it said? Red one, scale it down to 50%. Blue one, scale and rotate as much as you want. So if I scale this guy, and I scale it down to 50%, boom, now that guy right there is in 50%. And you know what? I'm going to put these solids down at the bottom here, just because I don't want them just blowing everything up like that. Okay. So, slides 3. Yeah, slides 3. So now if I just position this guy around here, let me just move you right here. I kind of like that. There we go. And this guy, well, in theory, it says scale it and rotate it however you want, so tell you what, I'll just do that, rotate it like that. There we go. Obviously, this is not the world's... Excuse me, why is the red and the blue in there? One moment, what did I screw up? Okay, no, the blue is still there. The blue is still there. I just have the slides on top of the color, so I didn't see it well. And, well, in that case, let me just hold up blue. There we go. Now I'm seeing the blue better. Okay, cool. Now that makes sense to me. Okay, so obviously not the exact same thing that I had before, but you know what? Let's go to File. So save this. Always save when you're done. File, no. Add to render queue. I already made something out in the render queue. I'm not going to do that again for the sake of this. But file, save it. We're good. Let's hope this video actually exports the full thing this time. And I'll see you guys in the next video.